All right, what's up, YouTube? This is Boxingwave, and I want to talk a little bit about the press conference since I didn't talk about that yet. And of course, I'm going to speak on the weigh-in that just finished, maybe about 20 minutes, 30 minutes ago. Um, if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you like the content, and also, follow me on all social media platforms, on Twitter, and share the video as well. All right. I was really excited watching the weigh-in just now. But before we get to the weigh-in, just want to just touch on the press conference, which was yesterday. And I just haven't had the chance to speak on the press conference. First of all, the press conference was good because this was the first time, like I really, not the first time we seen Bud turn up. We seen him turn up a little too much before against Jose Benavidez. But it's not the first time. We seen a little bit against Hank Lundy. Some of his opponents, there was a lot more talking and stuff involved. But up until this point, they've shown so much respect for each other. Even the banter between those two, between Spence and Bud, they just been going back talking about crawfish boil and big catching fish and all of this stuff, all this seafood, all of that. You know what I'm saying? There hasn't been any real disrespectful. I'm not saying they have to be disrespectful or anything like that, but there hasn't been any real emotion from neither. You know what I'm saying? And if you really think about it, when we talk about Bud and we discuss how Bob Arum saying he can't really sell fights and stuff, he doesn't do a lot of talking, and in the interviews he's always kind of relaxed, respectful. Like, he's from Omaha, Nebraska. He's a chill dude. He normally doesn't do anything extra, right? But neither does Errol Spence, if you really think about it. Errol's kind of chill too. He may talk a little bit more, but he's kind of chill at the same time. Neither one of them is like a Tank Davis or a Adrian Broner or something. Like, those guys are not like that. I think there's a lot of other fighters that are a lot more animated than those two. As far as the energy and everything, they're kind of like, they got this persona where they're like, all right, wait till I see you in the ring. You know what I mean? That's their attitude. They're like, all right, you do all that talking, wait till we get in the ring. And this time, especially, at least for Bud Crawford, you finally saw him like break out of that and get like hood for a second, like real hood, where I felt like he was gonna jump off that stage and grab up whoever he was talking to that was in the crowd, that was part of Team Spence. And this goes back to what I said videos ago. I've said it a few times, and you guys are gonna know what I'm probably gonna say right now. These two got so much respect for each other, yet you got all these hardcore fans, and some of them are not even really hardcore fans, but you got all these people, and including the teams and the families, they get so involved and they give off all this energy, and sometimes it's negative energy. But you got the two key fighters, the guys that's actually fighting in the ring, and they got respect for each other. And I've said this constantly, like, you got all these fans talking about who did this fighter fight, who does this guy fought this guy when he wasn't at his best, and this guy was injured the previous fight. You got all this, and these are good points. Sometimes it's good points, but sometimes it leads over to disrespect. And you got all these fans being disrespectful, but the fighters have respect for each other. These fighters, when they talk about each other, they gonna talk the shit, but at the same time, they're gonna tell you, like, yo, this is the one right here, and this is the big fight right here. I respect this guy is one of the best fighters in the world. This guy's a guy I gotta go through in order to reach that another level. These guys got respect for each other, but you got fans that's talking crazy. That don't make no sense, But as far as a presser, I love that, Crawford finally, he came out trying to be real serious, and he does that a lot when it's the last presser or the weigh-in. He's like that. He's usually friendly in the earlier presser, the first presser, but he's normally like that. But I don't think he could really hold on to it because he really don't have no real animosity with Spence. And you can tell, like, even at the weigh-in today, that he's cool dude. He really don't have none. He's probably happy for the opportunity. I mean, they both should be happy, and that's what they were saying on stage. They both should be happy at this opportunity. They're probably going to get the biggest bag they ever had in his career. They have the opportunity to fight for undisputed. You know what I mean? A lot of people are claiming that this is the best fight in this generation, post Mayweather and Pacquiao. There's a lot of hype behind the fight. I don't know if it's going to do the pay-per-view numbers. You know what I mean? I think they're going to do good pay-per-view numbers, but I don't think they're going to do major pay-per-view. I'm just hoping that they can possibly hit a mill. You know what I mean? That would be great for me. I mean, for them too. You know what I mean? I mean, me as a fan, them for the money. But at the end of the day, the best part about the press conference was definitely the back and forth between the two coaches. Bo Mack and Derrick James going back and forth. And I loved it, because we need things to be a little spicy. Being that these two are so relaxed, we need some kind of, sometimes it's corny, but whatever is going to hype this fight up even more. Derrick James, normally real chill, you know what I mean? He's real respectful, very classy guy, And then you had Bo Mack, who he does his trash talking. He does from time to time. But up to this point, those two have been very respectful. We saw those in the pressers. They have a lot of respect for each other and what they're doing in the camps. And this is the first time that they went even back and forth at it. Derrick James talking about Bo Mack and his weight, talking about, eating all this and stuff. And then Bo Mack just getting back at him, telling him, just doing all the trash talking. That I really thought it was cool to see them get loud and show some emotion. You know what I mean? I thought it was entertaining and I loved it. I think we need that. Sometimes it's corny. I said this on Twitter the other day before Stephen Fulton had fought in a way. And I say, regardless of whether it's corny or not, and I'm talking about the hand wrap situation, regardless if you feel it's corny or whatever, at the end of the day, it's just bringing some controversy, it's some build up, it's getting everybody to talk about the fight, because even though people were talking about the fight, it was just being overshadowed by the Spence Crawford thing. So there was really no animosity between these two. Inoue ain't doing much talking. He's a Japanese fighter. You know how they are over there. They're very respectful people. They're not doing that much talking going into a fight. You're not seeing a bunch of interviews, him talking trash or anything like that. Fulton, even when he's talking out of confidence. When he's saying that I can go over there and beat this guy, he's not even being disrespectful. So now this hand wrap situation happens. It flares up the whole boxing community because everybody's talking about whether or not Inoue's a cheater and Fulton, is he just making excuses for the loss? It get people talking. Whether you think it's corny or not, it's getting people to talk now. So I don't really have a problem with it unless it's something that directly affects the actual fight. And I said this on Twitter before, once they started the hand wrap thing. I was like, listen, I don't care about this because it's not affecting the fight in any way. If these guys are still going to go in the ring, it doesn't matter what Fulton's trainer said about the hand wraps if they're going to go and fight anyway, And then we got a little education out of it because the Japanese rules are different from some of the rules here in certain commissions in certain states and stuff like that. So you get a little bit to learn about how the hand wraps work there as opposed to some places here in America. You know what I mean? So press conference was good. I love that. We got a little spice finally. We got Crawford. We see him on that side where when he got arrested that one time. That's a Crawford. That's the hood version of Crawford. We know Crawford is hood, but he tried to be chill. He tried to not do too much talking. But if you notice, whenever he's doing little interviews in a space where he's comfortable, he opens up a lot more. He speaks a lot better because he's comfortable. I think when he does these like certain interviews with ESPN and all that, I think that's when he's trying to talk like how like basketball players talk? They all sound the same. They all say the same key words, the big words and stuff. They all sound the same. It's like every basketball interview is like the same thing. But I feel like Crawford tries to, and a lot of just basketball players, but just athletes in general, But I think Crawford, when he's in a comfortable space, you can tell he's a little different. So I was happy to see that. Now, as far as the weigh-in just ended, and I was hyped. I was excited. Even some of the pre-fights weigh-ins, they were pretty cool. But once they get to Crawford, I love Crawford's energy. He came out to the Lil Wayne song, dancing, rapping the lyrics. I don't really see him looking so excited for a fight like that. You know, I feel like Spence came out the way he normally comes out because Spence is always going to be about business. Not saying that Bud isn't, because he is too, but we rarely see Bud act like that. You know, and at the end of the day, when they did the weigh-in, because the weigh-in was all good. You know, the weight, we already knew what the weights were earlier today because they did they did the weigh-ins, the official weigh-ins this morning, but this was just for the show, and they both made weight. I think Bud was like 146.6, and I think Crawford, I'm sorry, Spence hit 147 on the dot, something like that. They both look phenomenal. They both look great. They look in great shape. And I wasn't expecting anything less. Crawford looked phenomenal. I mean, he's looked phenomenal before, but he looks great, man. I mean, both of them look good. You know, it shouldn't be any excuses going into this fight. We have nothing, you know. They both are coming off of good performances. You know, I know Errol had the whole accident thing. People are still talking about that, but he's had 2 fights since that big accident, you know, and he looked like he went to work in both of those fights. You know, especially in the last one where he destroyed your Dennis Ugas after Ugas beat Manny Pacquiao. Destroyed him. Remember, Spence was supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao. He destroyed the guy that beat Manny Pacquiao. You know, and whether or not, and same thing with Horn and Bud Crawford. Same situation. You know, I know a lot of people don't care about Horn, but when they were actually getting it on, you know what I mean, and before that fight, it doesn't matter if Manny Pacquiao, it doesn't matter if Horn wasn't that good to you guys. It doesn't matter because we already seen Horn against Pacquiao. And even if you think Pacquiao might have edged the fight, or if you thought the fight was a robbery, Pacquiao didn't perform like Crawford did. It was just a completely different fight. So you got to give credit to the way that these guys get it in once the fight go on. Spence destroyed Ugas after Ugas beat Pacquiao. And he was I know Pacquiao was a much older Pacquiao. I'm not going to forget that part. It was a much older Pacquiao. But Pacquiao, you know, but Crawford beat Pacquiao. Crawford beat Horn after Horn beat Pacquiao. All right. So anyway, very excited for the fight, man. The weigh-in was great. I love the energy. Even at the end, you know, Bud tried to beat this mean dude. He was happy, you know, and the exchange, they shake hands. They got respect for each other. You know, I know Errol keeps going back to, like, I made this fight happen. You know, he brought up the coin flip and the money he gave up for the fight. He keeps bringing it up. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem him saying how he feel and saying what we wasn't in the negotiation room. You know what I mean? He clearly felt that. I don't know what they got in the split. I don't know if it was completely 50-50. I don't know what it was. But at the end of the day, you got to make fights happen. If you want undisputed, you got to make it work for you and him. It got to work for the both of y'all. And at the end of the day, you're not going to get a bigger fight with anybody else, and you're not going to get a bigger fight with anybody else. And the opportunity is great. You know, but again, I said earlier in a breakdown, yes, he's been undisputed before, but not like this, because it's a different level. You're not fighting, Victor Postal and I forgot the last guy he fought to win the title, the last title. And I don't want to disrespect Crawford by saying that, because he did what he's supposed to do. Just like Inoue did what he had to do at 118. You might say, oh, it's not a big name, or you beat exactly who you needed to beat to become undisputed, and that's what is important. But at 147 now, it's different, because now you're not just fighting another, you're fighting for undisputed, but you're fighting against what many people, a fighter that many people believe is actually a pound for pound fighter like yourself. Maybe not as high, but people got them somewhere in that top 10 somewhere. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Tomorrow's the big day. I will be probably on in the morning, just chopping it up with you guys, talking. Again, I plan on, it's the big fight, and at the end of it, like, we all know Manny Pacquiao and Floyd was the biggest fight. We know that, right? We know that. And I'm talking about as far as me being on YouTube covering fights. We know that fight was the biggest fight. But I think this is a little better because these guys are closer into their prime. I know it took almost just about the same amount of time to happen, but these two are still younger and they're closer into their prime. And this fight is for undisputed. So it feels bigger, you know. I don't think, as far as the casuals, I don't think it's a bigger fight. Of course, it's not going to do the same numbers or anything close to that. But what I will say is that for the hardcore fans and some of the casuals, but for the hardcore fans, this is like a hardcore fan dream fight. You know, a lot of us are excited for it. I can't wait to see it. And yeah, I can't wait to get on here tomorrow and do live commentary and have fun like we normally do when I get on here. All right. So anyway, that's my views on the weigh-in, the press conference. I will be here tomorrow talking more about the fight. Please, everyone, join up, jump in. Let me know your views on the comment, or not in the comments, but just I'm gonna be live tomorrow. Love for anybody to join up and express how they think the fight is gonna go, and keep it, as long as you keep it respectful. And I can't wait for tomorrow. I think tomorrow, as far as the night, I'll probably get on maybe around 6-7 p.m. Eastern and cover the fight maybe an hour or two before the actual pay-per-view card starts. All right. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be safe. Have a good night. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Peace.